Hi, so the video experiment that I watched is on osmosis and potato strips. So what is osmosis? Osmosis is a special type of diffusion that applies to water and solvents. The materials that were used to demonstrate osmosis in the experiment that I watched are potato strips, salt, and water. The steps of the experiment were, for this particular experiment, 18 potato strips were used. So all the strips were cut to be the same length. There were also 6 beakers that were used, and in each of those beakers, 3 potato strips were placed in each one of those. So the next step was to measure 1 gram of salt using a scale, and then to add to the beaker and add 100 milliliters of water. So for this experiment, 6 different solutions were made. So the first one was 0 grams per 100 milliliters of water. The next one was 1 gram per 100 milliliters of water. The second one was 2 grams per 100 milliliters, and then 3 grams for 100 milliliters water, and 4 grams for 100 milliliters of water, and then 5 grams per 100 milliliters of water. So a total of 6 different solutions. And then after each solution was made, the potato strips were immersed into the beaker with the salt water solution. And then a timer was started, and the potatoes were left in the salt water solution for 20 minutes. After the 20 minutes passed, the potato strips were taken out and they were measured to the nearest milliliter. So what was the result of the experiment? Okay, so I have it written down right here. So the result of the experiment was the following. So the solutions that had the lower salt concentration, there was an increase in the length of the potatoes, which means that water entered the potato strips by osmosis. Therefore, the solution is hypotonic to the potatoes. And then the higher the salt concentration in the solution, there was a decrease in the length of the potatoes. So meaning that water had left the potato strip by osmosis. Therefore, the solution is hypertonic to the potatoes. And then during this experiment, it was found that at 1.4 grams per 100 milliliters of salt, the solution was isotonic, meaning that there was no net movement of water. And then in what direction does water move in osmosis? So in hypotonic solution, the water moves into the cell, causing it to swell. And in a hypertonic solution, water moves out of the cell, causing it to shrink. So what is the difference between osmosis and diffusion? So osmosis is a type of diffusion. And diffusion can occur in any mixture and does not require a membrane. While osmosis can only happen across a semi-permeable membrane from an area of high concentration of water to a region of low concentration of water. So an example of osmosis in living things would be the gastrointestinal system. So in this case, water is reabsorbed into the blood capillaries of the small intestine after digestion is completed. So what conclusions can you draw about osmosis from this experiment? So in conclusion, this experiment supports the idea of osmosis across a cell membrane through the diffusion of water out of a potato slice placed in a water/salt solution. And that was my presentation on osmosis and potato strips. Thank you.